learning just a couple things. I'm so excited that Nate did that because it is the perfect segue for what I had to dig deep to find the courage to talk to you about today. Blip, spurt, dash, how to aha yourself and your biz with the social web. Already there are several words that could make no sense whatsoever. So I need to start with a quote by Steve Jobs, and you may have come across this. I'm going to read it as passionately as possible. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward, and while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius, because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. So today I'm going, most social media strategy I hear about is always about measurement and analytics and paying attention to ROI, and these things are so important, it's true. And I'm going to go a little bit counter on that a little bit, because there's another way to look at your social media strategy. So if you're sitting in your chair and you're overwhelmed and you're wondering how the heck you're going to approach this, I'm going to share a strategy that works for me, and I hope it's helpful for you today. So I am obsessed, absolutely obsessed with two dashes in my life. This is the first dash, and I will tell you the second dash at the end of the presentation. The first dash is that little dash right behind the right in between the aha. The reason I'm obsessed with that dash is because it means something to me, and we agonized over it when we started our business. We know that Oprah talks about the aha moment, or how many people have heard of Oprah? Anyone? She talks about the aha moment and talks about how it's the moment that can change your life, and it's all well and good, and she features it in her magazine. And that's will.i.am talking about his aha moment, and I believe a true aha moment is a boom boom pow experience, it's true. Mutual of Omaha, has anyone seen their TV commercials or seen their website about their aha moment? Anyone? No, thank you. Thank you, they say it's a nice moment of clarity, a defining moment where you gain real wisdom. Absolutely, I absolutely agree. They even travel the country on this really cool silver bullet bus, and they capture other people's aha moments. So they've invested millions of dollars on this campaign, and they're celebrating it, and I'm psyched. Good for them, way to go. There are spiritual leaders, like this gentleman, Reverend David Rickey. Is that his name? Rickey. David Rickey. And he says, we don't create aha moments, we simply prepare the awareness to receive what the life force is always trying to communicate. Woo, that is pretty heavy stuff, isn't it? I mean, now we're getting pretty serious about this aha thing. Like, maybe there's some truth to it, maybe it's more than just a woo-woo idea. We believe that little hyphen separates not just the moment, it's not about the moment, that when you look at it, it shows you we are talking about a bit of laughter. Laughter is inspired action. It is the action of being joyful. And today we have heard so many great speakers talk about the importance of passion in your business and using that passion to really fuel whatever you're doing, whether you're serving coffee to people or if you have your own business, you're making quilts, we have quilt makers in the house, whatever you're doing, making sure that you do it with some kind of joy to make it a little meaningful and give yourself connection and give you a reason for being. So we believe that the social web is the ultimate aha petri dish. And this is why we're so excited about the social web. It is literally a machine that allows you to see what your friends and connections are saying and doing and thinking, and these people are always contributing, and even if you ignore it for days, weeks, or months, you come back and you see all this other stuff coming, and ideas are coming at you, and inspiration is there. You can share immediately what's on your mind. I'm sending a great big aha vibes to the fab folks in the summit today. Right away, instant publication. These are empowering tools. You can take experiences as you're living them and tweet them. You can be on top of a mountain and decide, I'm going to share with the world what I'm doing right now. And everything's at the power of just your little thumb, a few clicks of the thumb, and you're able to just get yourself out there. Whatever your vibe, your spirit, your energy, it's out. So how many of you have heard about Facebook's switch over to timeline? And how many people have already switched? Few people. Allegedly on Saturday, Facebook is going to give you another sweet surprise like they do. They are gently rolling out a switch of what you're used to looking at right now to something called Facebook Timeline, which is just a whole other framework for you to connect and share. And it is done with such, are you going to be able to play it? Oh. It would be so lovely if we could just see it from Facebook's eyes, because it's hard to explain, but, okay. There is an awesome video, facebook.com/timeline, that kind of gives you a lovely overview of what Facebook's doing. But what they have done is they've realized that they have, and Nate, I think you said in the videos, I've heard it's 850 million people on the planet are on Facebook. I mean, we are talking about a chunk of the human population. They are literally systemizing how we consume our lives and how we view our lives and how we share our lives, and there's no one like them. Can't click, okay. They are celebrating the Blip. Here we are at the Blip. The Blips, these blips are the new emotional and social currency, these little blips of your life that you're putting out on your social channels. We talked about how to be successful in business. You got to start with that emotional connection. I mean, the emotional connection is where it's at. These blips are the new social currency. So you can see a couple blips from my life. That's when our first child was born. That first child getting a little bit older, daddy at the beach. Now, we talk about what we should share on social channels. I agonized over this one. Not a pretty photo at all. Mine personally, it's one of my favorite photos in the world because that's when my second son came into my hands. I was very happy. And that's him just right here on the top of the mountain at Gunstock when he was 16 days old. Isn't that fun? He's the youngest, he was the youngest to ever make it up the Gunstock chairlift at my brother's wedding. And at my then, how old was she? 95-year-old grandmother was the oldest. So it's a monumental day here at Gunstock. This is, Alan and I are in the back with Mari Smith in our mastermind group in San Diego, California. So these are little blips that I'm sharing with you, and I can tell you about all of them. These little images are talking to you, sharing more about who I am and what I like than I ever could in the stuttering I'm doing right now. Which just goes to show no one wants a dull, boring, blipless life. I don't know if that goes to show it, but that is what I believe. I believe that the weird thing about Facebook is you can, if you forget or you go away for a week or a month or a year, you come back and this timeline thing, there's nothing there. You start going, oh my gosh, I gotta do something. I gotta show that I'm doing something. And the fact that, I'm sorry, I wish I could show you the Facebook video, but what, Facebook, I mean, Facebook and this timeline configuration is helping us become more aware of the actions we take in life and what we do and who we are, and it's a symbiotic, you know, some of it's good, some of it's bad, but it's tapping into something right here. Now, the Blip also has a business case. The Blip, when you blip out information, photos, videos, all the content sharing we've been talking about, you add to your social social SEO, or your, I guess, what's that? Oh gosh, it's been a long day. Yes. Oh my gosh. So according to Brian Solis, who wrote the book Engage, SMO is defined by the distribution of social objects and their ability to rise to the top of any related search query, where and when it's performed. Basically, any bit of content, every time you share, you are putting it out in the ether to contribute to your online presence, and you're growing your online presence, growing the possibility of connections, growing the possibility of collaboration, of sharing ideas, of sharing about what you're about, and the opportunity to see what you're about for yourself. Which brings us to the Spur. So we've got the Blip. The Blip is a little content. It's a little emotional connection that you're able to share with these social channels. The Spur is the creative drive, the creative energy that happens, that I'm going to recommend you seize and you take care of every chance you get. Spurts can happen 10 minutes every morning. They can happen for 1 hour every year. Whenever you feel it, and this is when you have to become more aware of what works for you. Social media they're just tools. You are the one who's in charge of this. You have to pay attention. Where are your strengths? What feels good? What feels right? And run with that. Get out of your comfort zone. Run with it. Take advantage of your creative spurt every chance you get. Because during a spurt, you must blip like crazy. That is where you're functioning in your peak performance. That's when your energy is great. That's when and I'm talking about you, I'm also talking about your business. If your business has an important trade show, that's where the energy of your team is really going, and you want to get that stuff out there because people respond to this. And on the online realm, that kind of stuff is the stuff that attracts people to you, ultimately. New clients, new customers, new people who are excited to hear, experience what you have and hear what you have to say. So when you're thinking of, they're the little blips of your life. We have the blip, the emotional connection, and the spurt, the action and the energy, the aha, the combination, these 1-2 punch combinations that are helping you become a better person professionally and personally. The thing you have to remember is that everyone's wondering, well, how can I succeed in social media? What do I do? What do I do in life, in social media, everywhere? Everyone thinks, or many of us think that success is just a one-way ticket, and you either got it or you don't. That is what success looks like. The one on the right, it's what it really looks like. It's a crazy line, a lot of failures, a lot of detours, a lot of self-analysis, a lot of questioning. It is up to you to figure out what works and to learn how to be fearless. Fearlessness is not something we're born with. It is something that we must really, really hone. It's a skill. It's not and the dark, dirty truth is no one's fearless. Everyone's got to deal with it. And Chris Brogan said it well. It's when you feel like you can't possibly make it happen anymore that you just have to hunker down and make it happen and figure out a way through. Here's the other hyphen. That is an interesting balance to the one in the middle of that aha. That little hyphen, and this is an image, sorry about the gentleman's name, that is not my fault. But that little dash in between the date you're born and the date you die, like when none of us can avoid it. So I'm hoping that little dash, as you think of it, helps you to become a little less worried about what other people think or what we're doing here, and a little bit more focused on what you want out of this little blip of time, this little tiny bit of time that we have on this planet. How important it is for you to get your passions and your mission and vision out to whether it's one person or 1 million people or even something, the importance to dream big and make sure that you do something that is valuable to you. So Eckhart Tolle, he's a spirit, anyone here of Eckhart Tolle, spiritual teacher? I'm going to try to do my Eckhart Tolle voice. This is really what he sounds like. After a few minutes it's mesmerizing, but at first it's completely ridiculous. What would be left of all the fearing and wanting associated with your problematic life situation that every day takes up most of our attention? A dash. 1 or 2 inches long between the date of birth and the date of death on your gravestone. To the egoic self, this is a depressing thought. To you, it is liberating. And I want you to think about that liberating part. I want you to think, you know what? Life is too short to not follow that next passion, that next venture that I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about it for years. Life is too short not to experiment with the next marketing campaign. Take a chance, make a video. So I'm so psyched some of you start tweeting today. Excellent. And then Mr. Jobs, R.I.P. Being the richest man in the cemetery doesn't matter to me. Going to bed at night saying we've done something wonderful, that's what matters to me. Stay inspired. You've got to find a way to stay inspired in social media and in your business. And ultimately, my dear friend Michelle Gooderl blipped this out. This is the best advice if you can take anything away from this presentation. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Dr. Seuss.